everyone. So today we're going to create a very hungry caterpillar hat, and you'll need scissors. This is a 4mm hook right here. You'll need darning needle, yellow yarn, green yarn, and red yarn. You only need a little bit of these. The smallest ball that you have should be fine. And then we also need the red yarn for the base of the hat. Let's get started. So this tutorial won't break down the stitches in depth, but I'll try my best to show you. So we're going to start with the magic ring. I loop it over my index and middle finger and make an X like that. And then I scoop up this strand of yarn right here and pull this in. So we have our magic ring. I'm going to chain 2 and put 10 double crochets into the magic ring. So this is going to be the starting at the crown of the hat. And I'll meet you when you have your 10 double crochets. And so you can pull your magic ring closed a little, and I count usually every time. I find it's easy to miscount. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Slip stitch at the top of the stitch, the first stitch you did, and we're going to chain 2. And so this is round 2. We're going to put an increase in every stitch, and so that's 2 double crochets in every stitch. And so you'll have 20 stitches at the end of this round. So 2 double crochets in each stitch. And I'll meet you again once you do your final stitch, which should be number 20. I've reached the end of the round. You should count around if you want to double check. I have 20 stitches. And now I'm going to slip stitch again at the top of that first double crochet. And so now I'm on round 3. We chain 2. We're going to start by adding a double crochet in the first stitch, 2 double crochets in the next. Double crochet, 2 double crochets. So that's a double crochet, increase, all the way around. And I start to lose track of how many stitches you should have at this point, so I'll write it on the screen. So it's double crochet, increase, double crochet, increase, and again we're going to continue all the way around until you have this many stitches. I just finished the 3rd round and I just did my last stitch. When we do these increase rounds, we always want to end on an increase, and so usually your last stitch should be an increase, so 2 double crochets in 1 stitch. So that's a good way to help you like keep track of if you did the right amount. You should end on an increase. So as usual, slip stitch into that top of that first double crochet, chain 2 to get to round 4. Now we're going to do 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, increase, double crochet, increase. And so we're going to follow that pattern all the way around. Double crochet, increase. Double crochet, increase. And again, I'll meet you at the end. Okay, I just finished my 4th round. I ended on my increase. You should have this many stitches. It'll be on the screen somewhere. Okay, 5th round. We have 2 more rounds. We're going to do the 5th and the 6th round. And then after that, we're done with increases and we can just double crochet. So onto the 5th round. Okay, we're going to slip stitch as always, chain 2. And now we're going to do, what did we just do before? We did 2. Okay, we're going to double crochet in the first 3 stitches and increase in the next. So double crochet, increase, double crochet, increase. And so we're going to do that pattern all around. Double crochet, double crochet, increase, double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, and increase. And I'll meet you at the end of the round. Now we're going to go to round 6. If you've noticed, we just increase, or we add an extra double crochet with each round. And so now we're going to go to round 6. So now we're going to slip stitch, chain 2, and now we're going to do 4 double crochets. So 4 double crochets in the first 4 stitches, and then we're going to increase. So that's double crochet, let me get closer. That's a double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, increase, double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, increase. So double crochet, 2, 3, 4, and then increase 5 and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we continue as usual. This is our last increase row. So we're going to continue towards the end, and at the end we should have 60 stitches total. So I'm in my last couple of stitches for this round. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops. 6. So again, we should have 60 stitches all around. This is the crown of the head right here that we just did. From round 7 to 12, we just did 1 to 6. From round 7 to 12, we're going to just do double crochets. So 6 rounds of double crochets, and that will be the end of the hat. I will get you started, but also if the hat, by the time you reach round 6, if it doesn't fit your head or if it's not big enough, usually I try to make hats about 7 inches. So usually when the hat's done, I fold it like this, and the length of it is usually about 7 inches, and I find that usually works. That's pretty standard. Yeah, but if it doesn't fit your head, you can always add an extra row or 2 to make that more comfortable and longer. And so we have no more increases. So for round 7, I'm just gonna slip stitch and go into that first stitch. And so there's no increases now. We're just gonna double crochet this entire row and continue until we get to row 12. So this is my hat complete. I just did my last row. I also did an extra row. So hold on. So yeah, this was round 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I did 7 rows instead of 6. I felt like it needed to be longer. And mine is almost 7. Yeah, just about 7 inches, which I find works for me. And so we're gonna finish this off before we get to all the little details. And so, sorry, it's kind of like, what's that word? Overexposed. Maybe it's just this white background. I'll maybe put something over this next time. So to finalize, can you see that? Yeah, we're gonna slip stitch as usual to end off. And then chain 1, leave a pretty lengthy tail to sew in and pull through. And so there's the hat completed, and we're gonna start on the little eyes. So we're gonna grab our yellow yarn. We're gonna make the ovals for their eyes like pictured. I find ovals not fun to make and also pretty not intuitive. So if you have a better method, please let me know or comment it for anyone watching. But this is usually how I do it. So I make a slip knot. So I just, again, wrap it on my fingers and then pull through to get this little knot and tighten around the hook. So we're gonna chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're gonna single crochet down the row, and when we get to our last stitch, we're going to add 3 stitches. Up here in the last one. That's 1, 2, and 3. So, and then we're gonna flip the project, and we're gonna single crochet up the length of the flipped project. So this hole is not a stitch. We want to single crochet in this one. This is the stitch we just did. You can also take your starting like tail with you if that's easy for you. You don't have to. You can sew it in at the end, but I do to make it easier when I'm finished. So seeing 1, 2, 3. So we're going in this stitch right there. Right here. How many was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, I believe. 5. And we're gonna add 3 half doubles in this top stitch. 1. You can also put a stitch marker at the top if you'd like, to keep track. Now half, half, half double crochet until you get to the bottom of the oval. Sorry, that got blurry. And now we're gonna add 3 half doubles. At that end, and now continue up the oval with 1 half double in each stitch. And we're reaching the top again, and so we're gonna add 3 half doubles at the top again. And we're gonna continue this until we reach the end of the row. So just keep going with the same pattern as before. Okay, I'm back at the top, and right now, okay, so I reached the top. Now I'm going to continue with a half double crochet, and now we're gonna start adding 2 half double crochets at each corner. So that just looks like, and I guesstimate with this, and so like this looks like the corner to me, so I'm just gonna add 2. I continue along with my half doubles. And I'm gonna add the double right here. And so continue doing that, adding a double like approximately around here and right here, and I'll meet you at the top of that round. Okay, so I'm back at the top, and we're gonna do another round of the 2 corners. Usually at this point, I start looking to see how big it is against the hat. And I know it folds, but once we sew it in with the darning needle, it should be fine. So I'll probably do one more row. Okay, I just made it to the top of that row we just did, and this is like the perfect size to me. Also, if you want this to be even, I usually steam it, or if you don't have a steamer, what I also do is I'll wet it or like spritz it with water and then put a hair dryer to it, and that just flattens everything out and makes things a little softer. And so since this is the perfect size to me, I'm going to end this. I just finished a half double crochet, so I'm just going to single crochet and then slip stitch and chain 1. And I'm going to cut a long tail so we can sew that in. Oh god, I want this. Okay. So the height of this is about, when it's completely flat, let me zoom in, about 4 inches. And then the length, just under 3 inches. So you're gonna make 2 of these, and we're also gonna make 2 green eyes. It's the same pattern, but I'll just show you, or at least get you started on the green one. But you'll make 2 of these and you'll make 2 of the greens, and then I'll show you how to sew it on. Hey guys, I also just wanted to note that there might be an easier way. You can still follow the way I'm going to do it here, but also I realized after the fact, after you finish the yellow part of the eye, you can also make a outer layer of green continuing. So instead of making 2 different pieces, as you'll see, you can, after you finish this yellow part, continue an extra round of half doubles with the green yarn, if that makes sense. But if it's confusing to you, then just keep following the tutorial. Let's start off with a slip knot. We're going to chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do the same thing as before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in this last stitch we're adding 3 single crochets. I need to get my, hold on. Okay, I had to pause it to get the yarn close to my face. So I just did the 3 here. We're gonna do the same exact thing as before. I'll tell you how many rows to go, and I'll tell you the length you want at the end. Okay, I went for a total of 3 rows, and this is how it looks. When it's stretched out, it'll look like that. I'm just gonna end this round. I stopped on a half double, single crochet, and slip stitch, and cut a long strand of yarn. Again, you want to make 2 of these, and then we'll come back and sew it on. Okay, so I have my eyes. It measures about, what is it, like 3 inches, and yeah, 2 inches this way. And then we're gonna sew it on. Also, if you weaved in your tail as you went, you can just cut it off, but if you didn't, you want to sew that in the back. So you'll use your needle and weave the tail through. Okay. We can also cut this off. You can do it now or later, doesn't matter. And so again, you can use a stitch marker for this. Clearly I like to wing things, so I will not. Okay. This is how we're gonna do it, and I'm just gonna go in. Love that mess up on the first try. There we go. And you can go through every stitch. You want to go through the V's basically, or the end of each stitch. So I kind of just go through the ends. You want to make sure, if you're not using stitch markers, it's even as you go. Sometimes I mess up and have to do it again. I don't know why I don't make my life easier, but. So we're just gonna keep doing this until you get back to the top. Okay, I just went all around. I just wanna make sure all my edges are in. I went all around. I wanna make sure nothing is peeking out. Also, you see it creates a little bump. So sometimes I also just go in throughout the middle to try to flatten this out a little. Okay, that feels good for me. And so what I usually do, okay, so I have these 2 yarns. So you can, sometimes I like tie these together. and then cut, because it'll be against the hat, so you won't see what's on the back of this. Or you can just cut this off if you sewed it in and sew this one in. But I'm gonna make the knot because I want to be as quick as possible, and then leave a little bit and then cut so there's a little bit left so it won't unravel. And this is the eye. What's this? Okay. And we will do the same thing with the other one, and then we will sew it on the hat. Okay, so I have both eyes ready to go, and we're gonna sew it on. Usually I try to have the bottom of the eye one stitch above the end of the hat. That's usually how I like to do it. Again, you can put stitch markers. You want to align them. Let me zoom out, sorry. Okay. And this is like once we actually lay it out, it'll look like that. Okay. Again, you can put stitch markers on it. I don't. I find it easier to not do that, but that might be more helpful. And so we're just going to do the same thing like we were doing with the green and the yellow. We're going to sew the yellow into the red. Okay, so we are going to add in the little, what are those things called? I'm going to say ears. And we're going to add them right here. So this is from the magic circle, 1, 2, 3, third row. I'm going to add them on each corner. Okay, let me zoom out. Okay. So the easy way to do this is make a slip knot, and then we're going to wait 1, 2, 3 and pull it through. I said easy way because it's not the way I usually do it, but I'm going to do it like that today. Okay, pull it through, and we're going to chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to half double crochet in the, I think, third stitch. 1, 2, 3 from the hook. Oh, yeah. And then single crochet down the rest of the row. 1, 2, 3. Is there another one? I think okay. 4. You can also use a smaller hook if you want. It might be easier. And then we're going to slip stitch back into the stitch we started in. And chain 1. And just cut a little bit to, cut a little bit to sew in. I'm going to cut that much. And pull through. And so you're going to use your needle, your darning needle, to put it in the inside of the hat, like put these in the inside of the hat so you could sew it in. So I usually tie a knot and then sew. And so you just do one more, you'll do one more on this side, and then you'll be done. Okay, here is how the little ears look. I'm just going to show you just so there's no confusion. And so you're gonna pull it into the hat. Like that. And so you'll just sew all these ends in. With the browns, like I said, I tie a knot and then I sew it in. And so your hat, once you sew these in as well, will be complete. Congratulations!